Hello and welcome to a special edition of Bible Alive. I'm so glad you're here with us today. You know, today we're going to look at how Bible prophecy is being fulfilled in the times that we are living in. And Pastor Helmer, a great friend of mine with Keep the Faith Ministries, has a special report on events that are transpiring in our daily lives today, right around the world, and probably in our backyards, and how they relate to Bible prophecy. Let's go right now to our new set for Prophecy Now with Pastor Helmer.
Welcome to Prophecy Now. I'm Hal Moore. Our first topic today is disasters in the cities. The cities are a special target in the last days. According to the Bible, there will be an increase in natural disasters in tandem with exceeding wickedness of the cities. Jesus said that the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were examples for our times and of the future destruction that will come upon the cities of the world. On December 26, 2004, the city of Aceh Banda, Indonesia, was destroyed by an earthquake, but the tsunami that followed it destroyed small cities and towns in a dramatic sweep around the Indian Ocean, killing over 200,000 people. But in recent times, there have been a series of rolling disasters, especially earthquakes that have focused world attention on the cities once again. The catastrophic earthquake that rocked Haiti on January 12, 2010 was unprecedented in its destruction and the misery that it caused. More than 220,000 men, women, and children lost their lives in the afternoon quake. At least 300,000 were injured and millions were left homeless. The shallowness of the quake, only 8 miles deep, and the poor construction methods used in buildings made Haiti's massive casualties inevitable. Haiti was a disaster waiting to happen. Haiti's fragile and poorly designed infrastructure was virtually destroyed. Water, sewer, some roads, electricity, telephone, and other communication systems were essentially knocked out or severely damaged and unusable, bringing the nation to a standstill. Then on February 27, 2010, an 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Chile, followed by a deadly tsunami. This quake was almost 22 miles deep, but still 1.5 million homes were damaged or destroyed, and between $15 billion and $30 billion in damage was done. The city of Talcahuano was hit hard by a triple tsunami, generating massive waves 18 feet or larger. Close to 80% of Talcahuano's 180,000 people are homeless, with 10,000 homes uninhabitable and hundreds more destroyed. The mayor said, "The port is destroyed, the streets collapsed, city buildings destroyed." Then on April 14, the Icelandic volcano erupted, spewing an ash cloud all over most of Europe, shutting down air travel for a 6-day period between April 15 and 20. The main focus of the news was on the distress of nations as business people and holidaymakers were stranded all over the world. But the hidden story is that of other essential services and supplies. The Icelandic volcano and its aftermath provide a revealing insight into the fragility of advanced, interconnected societies and their utter dependence on nature's goodwill. Manufactured goods, pharmaceuticals, and other critical freight stacked up in warehouses around the world, waiting for flights to take them to their intended destinations. Fresh produce for European markets rotted in the packing houses in Africa. The problem for modern advanced societies is that they are utterly dependent on air freight for just-in-time supply chain logistics. These supply chains enable the delivery of perishable consumer goods or components critical to manufacturing processes very close to when they are actually going to be used. The more globalization there is, the more vulnerable cities are to the disruptions, and the more difficult it is to manage them and recover from them. Huge cities, dependent on outside goods for survival of millions of residents, can become crippled very quickly when there is a major disaster, fuel shortages, or other breakdowns. When these supply chains are unhinged, dependent businesses and hundreds of thousands, even millions of people are affected. Imagine what would have happened if Europe's air traffic would have been grounded for another week or two because of a persistent volcano. As we near the close of probation, and as natural disasters become more powerful and destructive, as predicted in prophecy, the human toll and the stress on these societies is likely to be substantial. As populations have concentrated in large cities and become globally interdependent, it is not difficult to imagine the catastrophic consequences of globalization should a natural disaster disrupt supply chains to these large societies. A well-placed disaster can very quickly disintegrate even a highly developed social infrastructure, because these social ecosystems are actually quite fragile. While the earthquake that devastated most of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, was an example of this effect on a single large city, the Icelandic volcano suggests a similar potential impact on a very large interdependent society. On Saturday, September 4, a 7.0 earthquake hit Christchurch, New Zealand, destroying about 500 buildings and causing between $2 and $4 billion in damage. The earth moved 11 feet sideways. Buildings had been built to minimize casualties in such a quake, which yielded no casualties. We have seen a series of natural disasters in quick succession roll across the world in recent times, affecting large cities and whole societies. The cities at the end of time are death traps. Imagine if multiple natural disasters simultaneously disrupted the social fabric of a large number of megacities. If there are prolonged fuel shortages or food shortages, people living in them could panic. Soon, food would be stripped from the shelves of shopping centers and supermarkets. The human suffering, violence, and other socially destabilizing difficulties would be very dramatic.
As the book says that in the last days there will be wars and rumors of wars, so in order for the Bible's writings to come true, these things have to take place.
Definitely some serious warning signs with all the natural disasters, and it's kind of going right along with the timeline that they give you in the book of Revelations if you start comparing stuff. So definitely scary, but at the same point, you know, if you truly are a Christian, it's not quite so scary.
Jesus told Lot when he was put out of Sodom, "Escape for thy life, flee to the mountain." That counsel is certainly applicable today. When we come back, is Europe resurrecting the Holy Roman Empire? Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Larry, and I want to share something with you that comes straight from Remnant Publications, and I'm excited about it because it's helped strengthen my walk with God in a huge way, and I know it will help you too. And it's this new Apple iPod. It comes preloaded with a huge selection of Remnant's audiobooks, books like Desire of Ages, Great Controversy, and Steps to Christ. And it comes with the entire testimonies for the church set preloaded right on there. Let's take a closer look. For 25 years, I've had such a burden to get people to get truth-filled books in their homes. And I'm excited that Remnant Publications now has books on audio. And you know what? You can listen to them in an airplane. You can listen to them when you're driving to work. And in fact, I was just talking to a good friend of mine that told me this: Dwight, I just take my truck and I listen as I'm going to work, and when I shut off the truck, it's the first time in years that I can remember that I'd like to stay in the truck and just keep listening to them. Now as never before, people don't have to put it off. They can get the message, the Word of God, from their head to their heart. As small as these iPods are, you'll be amazed with the quality of sound that comes from them.
We've taken extreme care in making these audio files as true to their original quality as possible. From the voices that you hear reading everything, to the music and the sounds that you hear are just as beautiful as they should sound.
Not only is the iPod easy to use, but it can also do so much more than a regular MP3 player. You can load it with iPod apps, calendars, calculators, text versions of Bibles. You can put all sorts of apps. The sky is the limit.
I have to admit that I thought that there would be many who are intimidated by technology that would be afraid to try this new tool. But when people see how easy it is to use, they typically end up a happy user. You literally take it out of the box, plug in your headphones, point at the book you want to read, and you're listening. It really is that easy.
We realized there are some people who already have their own iPod or MP3 players. And that's why we've also made these books available on flash drives like this one. People can easily copy the files from this small drive to their own MP3 player.
I am so excited about this new technology, but it's not the technology that makes it so special. Like Mom used to say, it's what's on the inside that matters most, and this iPod is no exception. Check this out.
But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
The new fully loaded iPod has been such a blessing to me and many others, and Remnant wants it to be a blessing to you too.
You can have all this in your daily devotions to prepare you and your family for the second coming. Be equipped to face the future with God's powerful message of faith and hope for today.
Man, what a great day to share some books. One of the biggest problems that people make when they go out to share books is they try to share too many too soon. What we need to do is set some goals for ourselves. Now for some, setting a goal of sharing a book a day is a great way to start. And we think that's a tremendous idea. One book a day. Now you can work your way up from there, but start simple, don't overwhelm yourself, and make it a point to not let one day go by without sharing a book. So now that we have a goal of a book a day, let's talk about the type of book we share. We want to make sure that we are armed with the most effective books so that people will take the books we leave with them and read them. Now, some people have the mentality that because we're giving these books away, let's use the cheapest old book we have lying around. Well, that may be true to a point. We don't want to spend too much on books that we're giving away so we can give more away. But our goal isn't just to get books in people's hands. We want them to actually read the books we leave. I mean, some people take books that are so torn up and chewed up that when people receive them, they may receive them with a smile, but the next thing you know, they're throwing them in the trash can, and they never do read your book. Thankfully, Remnant Publications provides books that will address both your wallet and still provide excellent quality books that will entice people to open them and read the truths contained within. Now, the first thing you want to look for in a good book is a nice cover. You take the cover on this book, America in Prophecy by Remnant. Now, there's a couple things about this. First, it's eye-catching. Now, I know you've heard that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but the reality is most people do. And if the cover entices them, they'll want to look inside. The next thing we want to do is take a look inside the book. Make sure your paper is a nice bright white. It makes a clear contrast in the book, and it makes the reading easier on the eyes. Notice also the font type. Some people try to save money by printing in a smaller font. That way you can print a book in fewer pages, but it makes it harder to read. You take a book like this one here, and it's printed on what's commonly called newsprint. It's a yellowish paper, and the writing doesn't stick out well. And you notice the font size is very small. It's just not a book that people will typically want to read. Another thing is you want to make sure the book opens easily. Some books, like this one, will spring back. You try to open it, it shuts on you. It won't stay open as you read it. But if you take a book with a good binding, it'll open up easier. All of these things make a book easier to read and more likely that somebody will read them. Now, most importantly, whatever book you're sharing, whatever person you're sharing with, you want to ask the guidance of the Holy Spirit to direct you in selecting the right book for the right person at the right time. And now that you're equipped with the right tools, you can join us to reach the world one book at a time.
Welcome back to Prophecy Now. On December 1, 2009, Europe transformed itself into a superstate. It was the culmination of a 60-year plan to create a centralized government over the whole region of what is today 27 nations. But the reason for the consolidation of power is little understood. Most people have no idea what is really happening there. The history of the European